Today is Tuesday, Parashat Tetzaveh. It's also Zayin Be'adar Aleph. It's the 7th day of the first month of Adar. 7th day of Adar is the day of the birth and the Petira and the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu. There is a custom on the day of the 7th of Adar to some people who are very strict fast on this day and also learn certain portions that have to do, first of all, beginning with the book of Devarim, which was what Moshe Rabbeinu spoke for actually 5 weeks from the 1st of Shvat to the 7th of Adar, and also portions from Pirkei Avot and other readings. The custom is to do it for us, is we have the custom to do it on the second month of Adar, when there are 2 months of Adar. But there are some opinions of Poskim that hold that on the first Adar, the 7th of the first day of Adar, which should be today. This is the day when they mark the day of Petira of Moshe Rabbeinu with fasting and learning the Tikkun of Zayin Be'adar. Now, even if we do it on the second month of Adar, there is still a custom today, which would be on the first Adar and on the second of Adar, on both of them, to learn certain portions that have to do with Moshe Rabbeinu. Incidentally, the parasha of this week is the parasha Tetzaveh, where the name of Moshe Rabbeinu does not appear. It happens to be during the week that Zayin Adar, that he passed away. Parasha doesn't mention his name. And the reason for that is, our Hachamim explain, after the sin of the golden calf, Moshe Rabbeinu asked Hashem to forgive Am Yisrael. And he said certain words in a way. He said, if you don't forgive them, then he asked to have his name erased, Misifrecha shekatavta, from the book. In other words, from the Torah. And Sifrecha can be separated into Sefer Kaf, which means book 20th. And this week, the parasha is the 20th parasha of the Torah. And that's the parasha that tells us of the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu, that he was willing to have his name erased from the Torah if Hashem would not forgive Am Yisrael. So dedicated he was to Am Yisrael. And in a way, there's an explanation also, the fact that the parasha starts with Ve'ata Tetzaveh, and you shall command. And he tells us in this parasha about the type of oil they use for the menorah, and about the begadim, the clothing of the Kohanim. It says, not Hashem commanded Moshe, but Ve'ata Tetzaveh, in other words, with the greatness of Moshe to have such dedication to Am Yisrael, to be willing for his name to be erased. If Hashem doesn't forgive Am Yisrael, indicates the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu to the point of Ve'ata Tetzaveh. You are worthy to you, command Am Yisrael. Today, the Mussar of today in the Chok said for today, Amru Zichronam Livracha, En ha'olam mitkayem ela b'mi shebolem piv b'shat meriva. The Mussar tells us that Rabbi said that the world continues to exist only based on the merit of a person who's able to close his mouth during a quarrel. In other words, people fight with him, they offend him, and rather than answering kind, if he's willing to have, if he has the self-control to not respond in kind, the world exists and continue to exist based on the merit of that person. שנאמר תולה ארץ על בנימה. רבי אבא אומר, על מי ששים עצמו כמי שאינו. And Rabbi Abba says, the world exists based on the merit of a person who's so humble that makes himself as if he was not there. V'tanu Rabbanan, our sages taught, Hane'elavim ve'enam olvim, those who are insulted or offended by others. Ve'enam olvim, and they don't answer back to offend or to insult the other person. Shom'im herpatam ve'enam meshivim, they hear themselves being shamed and they do not respond. Alehem HaKatuv Omer, on them the Pasuk says, Ve'ohavav ketzet hashemesh bigvurato. Those who love Hashem are like the coming of the sun in his strength. In other words, a person who has the self-control not to respond while he's being offended, eventually he will shine just like a sun. ואמר רבי אליהו לעולם אין התורה מתפרשת אלא במי שאינו קפדן. Rabbi Eliyahu says that the Torah is explained and is interpreted properly only in those who are not particular, but when they're insulted, to respond in kind, but only in those that are forgiving is the Torah explained properly. אשרי האדם מכיר ערכו ויום המיתה נגד עיניו ויודע שהוא לפני הבורא יתברך שמו וזוכה שנותן לו חיים. He says, fortunate is the person who recognizes his value, who has the day of death before his eyes. In other words, he cannot get so haughty because eventually there is an end to the life at some point. And Yodea is aware שהוא לפני הבורא, that he stands before Hashem, יתברך שמו וזוכה שנותן לו חיים, and always remembers that Hashem is the one who gives him life, לעובדו, in order to serve Hashem, ולעסוק בתורתו, and to occupy himself with his Torah. וכן הוא עושה ודאי אהוב למעלה, if he acts this way, just like what we said here in this Mussar, ודאי for sure אהוב למעלה, ונחמד למטה, he's beloved above by Hashem, and he's found pleasant below here with people. Vashem imo, and Hashem is with him. And that was the Mussar from today's Chok L'Israel. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.